Siskel and Ebert, Tom Cruise wonders if winning is the only thing in Jerry Maguire.
Woody Allen, Goldie Hawn, Alan Alda, and Julia Roberts have something to sing about in Everyone Says I Love You.
And only Sylvester Stallone can break out of a collapsing tunnel toward daylight.
I came here to let you go. Pardon me? I came here to fire you, Jerry.
Tom Cruise plays a professional sports agent who loses his job and most of his clients in Jerry Maguire, one of the big new holiday pictures we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Jerry Maguire is a busy picture that tries to cover a lot of ground and does most of it fairly successfully. Tom Cruise stars very convincingly as one of the top agents in the business until he writes a memo on values and ethics, and that gets him fired by his agency. All of Jerry Maguire's clients abandon him until he's finally down to his last hope, a wide receiver named Rod, played by Cuba Gooding Jr.
Show me the money! Show me the money! Louder! Louder! Show me the money! That's it, brother, but you got to yell at me! Show me the money! I need to feel you, Jerry! Show me the money! Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money! Show me the money! You love this black man! I love black people! I love black people! What you gonna do, Jerry? Show me the money!
Congratulations, you're still my agent.
You may remember Cuba Gooding from his great work on Boys in the Hood, and he's good here too as a pro player who might be able to get a better contract if he just be a little more flexible.
Hey! Hey! Fuck! Athlete! I am not an entertainer! Fuck! These are the ABCs of me, baby! I do not dance, and I do not start preseason without a contract! Fine! Fine!
But off the field, Gooding has a wonderful romantic relationship with his wife. And that's an inspiration for Jerry Maguire, who discovered after he was fired that only one other person would stick by him, an accountant played by the lovable Renee Zellweger, who starts by loving his ethics and ends by loving him.
I have to go in. I live here.
Bonnie Hunt plays her older and wiser sister.
I'm worried that you're putting all your faith in this guy who, because of the way things are going, might not have an emotional marble in his head.
Laurel, please, if I start talking.
You please.
So what does that make me, Laurel? For taking the opportunity.
Men are just different people when they're hanging on to the bottom rung.
I like Jerry Maguire quite a lot, but I wish there had been less of it to like. There are at least 2.5 movies here, and I think they could have started by getting rid of all of the distracting material about the divorced wives support group. Then they could have made a nice movie about the cutthroat world of professional sports agents, or another nice movie about the love story between Maguire and the woman who believes in him. Both of those stories suffer a little, I think, in a movie that feels like it needs closer editing. But even in its flawed state, Jerry Maguire contains wonderful performances, a lot of insight, and some real feeling. It's far from perfect, but I liked it a lot.
I liked it too, maybe a little more than you. I think that the two parts, the sports agent part and the love story, I think is this writer, director Cameron Crowe, is saying something very important, which is that for yuppies, and this is, Cruise is the ultimate yuppie in the movies these days, that there is more to life than business success. And I think that the love story here and this performance by Renee Zellweger, who's been independent, this is a star-making performance. She has a tremendous presence.
She is wonderful in the film, and maybe you've got a good point here. Maybe it is richer for having all of this stuff. It seemed, though, like the movie knew so much about sports agents that I wanted to know more.
I think they started out thinking it was going to be a sports agent movie, mostly, and I think that she pops off the screen so big that she dominates. And
she does, but, you know, also, I think Cuba Gooding Jr. and his wife do really good counterpoint to that romance, showing them what a relationship can be.
Can be. In other words, another way of life.
Yes.
That there is victory and winning in love.
Okay.
Okay. Coming up next, Sylvester Stallone tries to find a way out of a collapsing tunnel and bring its survivors to daylight.
If the water level was higher, the pressure would build, and all the air would blow right to the top.
Like a cork, like a geyser.
Yeah, it happened to a couple of guys digging the Baltimore tunnel last year.
What happened to them? They died, right?
Keep going, keep going!
Sylvester Stallone is at it again, rescuing an assortment of New Yorkers trapped in a collapsed commuter traffic tunnel in daylight. And Stallone himself, I think, has been commenting on this picture by, subsequently to filming this, taking on his first supporting role in 20 years for his next movie, and by saying that maybe his action picture days are numbered. Daylight is a disaster movie set in a tunnel, one linking traffic between Manhattan and New Jersey. It collapses after a hijacked car driven by a cartoonish, loony thief, cast like all the characters in this picture for the worldwide action market, crashes into trucks illegally carrying toxic substances. This sequence of special effects is well done. To the rescue, Sylvester Stallone, playing a former chief of emergency medical services for the city. Former because he was disgraced when some of his co-workers died in a previous rescue attempt.
What I'm going to try to do is collapse a section of that tube to seal us off from the fire and try to plug that leak.
How do you plan to do that?
I have to use an explosive. Please, let me explain.
Another
Please,
explosion?
please.
That's your idea down here? No wonder you got people killed.
Naturally, a relationship develops between Stallone and the one single woman among the survivors. She's played forgettably by Amy Brenneman.
The hell with me, go! Go! The hell with me.
Another cornball scene, a tunnel cop played by Stan Shaw. He has his neck broken, but still remembers to give his girlfriend a memento. Another disaster movie cliches, the black guys always die in service to the others.
I finally meet a woman I love. I didn't even get the chance to tell her that I love her. Do you think she knows? Yeah.
Some of the effects in Daylight are just fine, but the dialogue is a joke. And as a measure of my boredom, about a half hour into this picture, I became fixated on the critic down the row from me eating some candy. It wasn't Roger. It was John Petrakis from the Chicago Tribune. And I tried to guess the candy he was eating by the sounds he was making. Now, those sounds were more captivating to me than anything going on the screen in Daylight.
Well, I knew it wasn't me because there was still candy left after half an hour. I would mention the movies that this movie rips off, except we don't have time on a half-an-hour show. This is the Poseidon Adventure meets the Towering Inferno. It's the kind of the tunneling Poseidon adventure. And after a while, all you have to say is, if you've never seen a movie like this, then maybe you should see one as part of your lifetime
But why
experience.
this one? Rent those.
Rent one of those.
Yeah.
But if you have seen a movie like this, there's no need to see another one. There's no need to make another one. It's just a waste of time.
You know what I'm talking about when I say characters cast for the international market?
Oh, yeah.
When we have a jewel thief in the opening of the... This will sound picky, but it stands for a lot. We have a jewel robbery, okay, in Manhattan.
Yeah.
These are punk rockers dressed up, because punk rockers will translate to younger audiences worldwide.
It doesn't offend any ethnic group.
But if you do a robbery, why dress up outlandishly in the jewelry district where you're going to stand out? I mean,
and the digital readout on the fan that he has to drop through.
You know what?
In case
you
might need a digital fan.
You haven't knocked Stallone.
Well, he's okay. Stallone
for
is
making this.
Stallone
if he doesn't want to
make this picture. Yes. Stallone does a good professional job.
Sticking his hand in
well,
mud.
He's got it filled with plastic explosives, Gene.
Okay.
Don't forget the payoff.
When we come back, the first musical by Woody Allen, Everyone Says I Love You, is next.
To find the right woman for him, somebody to match up with his personality. But I'm beginning... Honey, bring another glass. I'm beginning to wonder if the world population of women isn't too limited.
Thank you.
Woody Allen plays a writer based in Paris whose girlfriend has dumped him, so he returns for consolation to his best friends, which, typical of a Woody Allen movie, are his former wife, Goldie Hawn, and her current husband, Alan Alda. And those are some of the many relationships in Everyone Says I Love You, a movie for which the word magical was invented. Now, this may not be Woody Allen's most important, or maybe not his most thought-provoking movie, but I think it's his best movie because it finds the perfect tone for a modern romantic musical comedy and carries it triumphantly through a whole mixture of stories about wonderfully conceived characters. Here are two of them. Alan Alda's daughter, played by Drew Barrymore, who is about to be proposed to by her boyfriend, Edward Norton.
It's delicious.
What are you doing?
This
What
is
are you...
my favorite.
Stop it!
What are you doing?
Where's the rest of the dessert?
What do you mean?
Where the whipped cream and the cherry usually are.
I ate it.
You ate the ring?
What ring?
Honey, I bought you a diamond ring.
You did?
I went to Harry Winston's.
Well, where is it?
I put it in the parfait.
Why?
I thought it would be romantic.
Alan takes his own daughter on a summer vacation to Venice and falls in love at first sight with a young woman played by Julia Roberts. So he tries to run into her accidentally.
You okay?
Yes, I'm fine. You gotta keep in shape. I jog every day. You?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you an American?
Yeah.
It's a great country, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
The mountains and the prairies.
Oh, yeah, America.
Oceans,
Yeah.
You know, white with foam and everything.
And then Woody's daughter, played by Natasha Lyonne, announces she has fallen in love too.
What do you mean you're in love? What? With what? What does he do?
Gondolier.
No, thank you. He's one of those guys with the striped shirt and a hat?
No hat.
Now, as charming as those scenes are, they don't even begin to suggest the best thing about Everyone Says I Love You, which is that this movie is a musical. Most of the actors sing the songs in their own voices. Some of them are not great singers, but they're all great performers, and they sell the lyrics in a way that gives the songs a genuine enchantment. And then there's a dance sequence on the banks of the River Seine in Paris that I would not dream of spoiling for you by even one little word, but it is magic. Woody Allen took a big chance making a modern musical, and he has succeeded brilliantly. Everyone Says I Love You is absolutely wonderful.
Well, I'm surprised by a couple of things you say. One, that calling this his best movie. I mean, I just don't think this is anywhere in the category of his two landmark films.
You're thinking of Crimes and Misdemeanors and Annie Hall, probably.
I'm thinking of Annie Hall and Manhattan, actually.
Okay.
Too. The second thing is, I'm not recommending the picture.
Really?
Yes, because, and I want to get into it. First of all, I'm getting a little tired of the Woody Allen nebbish character. I would like to see him grow up, because I haven't, any of the jokes that he says, and he has the punchlines, they're not funny anymore. I didn't laugh at a single one.
Oh, Gene.
That's number one. Now, let's get to the music. I felt that some of these, that he was like doing campy versions. I know they're tributes. When he has the people, when he has the hospital staff dance, the...
Why not?
No. It's great that he would have them, but it feels phony. It feels like, oh, he's doing that in service of something else.
Gene, first of all, I love the Woody Allen persona, but the person who's growing is not the character, it's the director. The director who continues movie after movie and year after year to try new things and to take chances, and some of them work and some of them don't work, and to make a musical, and to say, I'm going to take these great old songs, which he's been using in a lot of his movies, and to let the people really sing them and sell them, and it's so charming. I'm really sorry that you didn't have a better time.
I wish I did too.
Coming up next, our Revolving Thumbs, Gene and I take on a couple of issues in the movies today, everything from early Oscar campaigning to the presentation of restored movies on television.
That we call the Revolving Thumb, our opinions on current trends in the movies. And this fall, I've begun a new weekly column and TV guide about theatrical movies appearing for the first time on cable and broadcast television. And in my first few weeks, I've written about a couple of recently restored movies that we've reviewed on this show, including the classic Lerner and Loewe musical My Fair Lady, brought back to its original pristine beauty through the efforts of restorers Robert Harris and James Katz, and available on home video in its original format.
Sit down.
Ah, well, if you're going to make a compliment of it...
Sit down.
Sit down, girl. Do as you're told. Ow.
What's your name?
Eliza Doolittle.
But in my column, I had to point out that the network presenting this new vintage material didn't care enough to present it in its full widescreen dimension. CBS presented My Fair Lady on Thanksgiving Day in a pan and scan version that cuts off big chunks of the edges of the movie. A couple of weeks ago, I talked with one of the people involved in the presentation of the film for CBS, and he told me that it is the network affiliates, their local stations, that demand the pan and scan version. They say they don't want to field the angry calls they're sure to get, they say, from viewers who might object to letterboxing. I say one time, and it might have promotional value, one time, let the letterboxing version go. Check out the ratings before succumbing to pressure. Therefore, my thumb revolves and points down to networks that buy the rights to restored movies and then butcher them once again.
Okay, now the revolving thumb goes around and around again, and when it stops, it points up for some of this year's top Oscar contenders if, a big if, enough Academy members see them in order to vote for them. So what I'm going to supply this week is a holiday shopping list. I want to gently suggest to the voting members of the Academy that if they do not make it their business to see the following 7 films, then they have not done their homework and they should be ashamed of themselves. At the top of the list, Fargo by the Coen brothers with its fabulous performance by Frances McDormand.
Well, I'm a police officer from up Brainerd investigating some malfeasance, and I was just wondering if you'd had any new vehicles stolen off the lot in the past couple of weeks.
Next, Lone Star by John Sayles, one of the most ambitious stories of the year, following secrets through generations of a Texas border town.
I just think people in town ought to know the full story on Buddy Deeds.
That makes 2 of us.
Next, Mike Leigh's Secrets and Lies, with its incredible offbeat performance by Brenda Blethyn. As a mother contacted by the daughter she gave up for adoption. This was a great year for female performances, and that's proven again in Breaking the Waves, with its daring and heartbreaking performance by Emily Watson as a simple-minded girl who marries an offshore oil worker.
I just want Jan home again. I pray to you. Oh, please, won't you send him home?
Next, Bound, one of the best screenplays of the year by the Wachowski brothers. This is a combination of blood simple and screwball comedy.
You don't want to shoot me, do you? Do you? I know you don't.
And Shine, the story of the collapse and comeback of a gifted pianist. And also, Big Night, the wonderful story of a failing Italian restaurant and all of the lives it touches.
Let's eat.
And of course, there are other Oscar contenders, but those are 7 that I'm afraid the Academy might not have on their list of movies to see. I haven't seen all of this year's movies yet, of course, but I've seen most of them. And I know that any Academy voter who has not seen those 7 titles is not taking the job seriously and should be ashamed.
I think this is a very special year. I mentioned a long time ago, this is legitimately the year of the woman, and if they will look at the women's category, they're going to see some excellent work. So treat yourself, see some pictures.
Okay, so if you're in the Academy and you're not going to see those films, the revolving thumb goes down for you. When we come back, our new Viewer's Thumb segment, plus our video pick of the week.
It's James.
Hi, Raisinets. At the movies or anytime, Raisinets.
My video pick this week is an offbeat film for children called James and the Giant Peach, and I'm selecting it for an odd reason, because I think seeing it might give older kids, say over the age of 10, some ideas about how movies are made, and it might trigger them to become amateur filmmakers. The movie features intricate stop-action animation, where the filmmakers move and film handmade creatures a fraction of an inch at a time. James and the Giant Peach is the whimsical story of a little boy who takes a voyage across the Atlantic on a giant peach. Talk about a fantasy.
Oh, no! Oh, dear!
James and the Giant Peach is out now in video stores. I do recommend it for older kids.
And now it's time for our Viewer's Thumb segment, where viewers tell us what they think about the movies. And this week's thumb belongs to young Jonathan Bressler of Culver City, California, who didn't like a couple of our recommendations.
As a kid, I disagree with your 2 thumbs up for Microcosmo. Although the film was beautiful, it was hard to understand because they didn't tell what was going on and I didn't know which bugs were which. It seemed long, although it was a short movie. Maybe you should reevaluate how you recommend movies for kids, as I even saw Hoop Dreams based on your recommendation and found it boring because it was too slow and not enough basketball action.
It's often suggested that kids should review movies for kids, but you know what? I think that actually I found in my life that the longer I've lived, the more I found out about things. And when I was a kid and a teenager, I read adult critics and I wanted to learn from them. I didn't think that my lack of experience and background and information gave me any advantage over them.
His complaints seem to be, let's have things faster, speed it up. And that, unfortunately, I think is a creation of lack of reading and watching frenetic television.
I think you're right, because, gee, that movie went by so fast. It was so fascinating looking at those big blow-ups of those
Yeah.
Amazing.
And though I didn't know the names of them, I mean, would it have helped if I had subtitles on that?
Nah.
Not really. It took into a fantasy world. Okay, make your tapes about 20 seconds long, frame them head and shoulders, and give us good sound and light. Send your comments to the viewer's thumb, Post Office Box 4400, Chicago, Illinois, 60680. Now let's recap the movies we reviewed on this show. 2 thumbs up for the beautifully written yuppie love story, sports agent movie, Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise. 2 thumbs down for Sylvester Stallone's latest boring action picture, Daylight. And a split vote on Woody Allen's Everyone Says I Love You. Roger thinks it's a landmark musical. I think it's a mismatch of a tribute to old-fashioned musicals and the increasingly tiresome Woody Allen character.
Next week, we'll be back with reviews of more new holiday movies, including Mars Attacks and The Preacher's Wife, starring Denzel Washington. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
If you hate cords tripping you up, you'll love Conair's convenient new Cord Keeper Dryer. The Cord Keeper Dryer. Another Conair first. It's the one to wind up with.
With a home equity loan from the Money Store, you can consolidate bills, make home improvements, even buy a car. Call the Money Store at 1-800-LOAN-YES.
Now there's an easy, simple